So when we did this yesterday, we had started with, y'all were left with finding the products and trying to graph this. And you should have come up with your products being -9, 0, 4, 4.5, 4, 1, 0, 1.5. And it should come up with a graph starting like this. And here is at the 4, we went up to 4.5, and then back down to 4, then down to 1, 0, and then we went back up to 1.5.
One quick question.
Yes.
On the -3 times -1, how's that 4?
-3 times -1 is a +4. Oh, +3. Thank you. That was a 3. It was I can't math today. Or whenever I did this part. And so your graph should look something like this. So we had zeros on this one at -1/2 and 2. We only had 2 zeros. Here and here. So this 0 we touched and came back. How does that connect back up here to my factors? It's where it crosses the x-axis, right? So set these equal to 0, and they would match and give you that same location. So this is where we have a double, which is where it touched and went back. So this is the one where I told you that you had that paper to help you find the points and graph. So what are some ordered pairs that you picked out of the paper, out of this? I did -5 with a y value of -3.5, or +3.5, excuse me. -4 with y value of 0. -3 with -2.5. -2 and 4. -1. Oops, that was -4. -4.5. 0, 4, 1, excuse me, -4, excuse me, -2.5. 2, we're back at 0. And 3, we're back at 3.5. So the other factor we have is x plus 4. So we're going to take the x value and we're going to add 4. -5 plus 4 is -1. -4 plus 4, 0. -3 plus 4, -2 plus 4, -1 plus 4, 0 plus 4, 1 plus 4, 2 plus 4, and 3 plus 4. Now, what two numbers are we going to multiply to get us our product? The y and the new x. So that's going to give us our product. And we're not going to be able to graph all of these, but we're going to kind of see the big details right here. And if you want to try to graph it on your other graph, you'll actually be able to fit them all on that graph. But this graph is only going to be able to get some of them. So negative 1 times negative 3.5 is a negative 3.5. So at negative 5, I'm at negative 3.5. That's 2.5, 3.5. Negative 4, that product is going to be 0. Negative 2.5 times 1 is negative 2.5. So I'll come back down. Negative 4 times 2, negative 8. Negative 4.5 times 3, who knows what that product is? Oops, that's not the number I went to write. Negative 13.5. Because 3 times 4 is 12. 0.5 times 3 is 1.5. So 12 plus 1.5 is 13.5. And we have negative 16. What is 2.5 times 5? What?
11. Or negative 11.
Close. 12.5, you're very close. The way I do that in my head is I think of this as a quarter. I had 5 quarters. Is $1.25. Because we think in quarters a lot easier than we think anything else. How about 3.5 times 7? Starts with a 2.
Yeah, was it 22.5?
Close. 24.5. Because half of 7 is 3.5. So you have 3 times 7, which is 21, plus 3.5. And so like these big numbers, we're going to not be able to fit on. Or actually, no, I did get it to the graph y'all can have it fit on. I forgot I adjusted it. And so we came back down, negative 8, negative 13.5, negative 16, negative 12.5, 0, and then this one goes off the chart. And so let's think about what our zeros are. This caused the 0 of negative, or excuse me, of positive. This one causes a 0 of x equals negative 4. This one also has that same 0. So we have a duplicate again. What did it cause? Caused a double, which means it touched him back. Let's see what happens if we have it to where the double's already there. Or no, there was no double because we have a positive and a negative. Do you think it's going to behave the same? Okay. So this one, we have x and the graph. Okay. Let's see if I can grow those graphs. Pause this. So there are a whole lot of numbers here we can choose from. I'm just going to kind of stick with between -5 and +5. And then I'm going to use the numbers in there that I can. So when x was -5, it was at a height of 9. When x was -4, it was at 0. When x was at -3, I was at -7. When x was at -4 or -2, it was at -12. When x was at -1, it was at -15. And when x was at 0, it was at -16. And then it kind of repeats back going the other side. So when x was negative, or when x is -2 happens, what number am I going to subtract? You can hear these graphs. And I have to do. And so -5 minus 2. -4 minus 2. -3 minus 2. And is everybody okay if I keep on counting? Sorry, that line was so I can make sure I was staying on track. So we're gonna do the product. 9 times -7. What number is that?
-68.
So in 5, we're at -63, so that's off our charts. We just realized it's off the charts down here. 0 times -6. -7 times -5. Positive 35. Both negative. -12 times -4. Positive or negative? And so estimating right about there. How about -15 times -3? What about -16 times -2? -5 times -1. What?
Wait, no, 15. Okay.
I couldn't hear what you said, sorry. So at 1, we're at 15. -12 times 0. Easy one there. -7 times 1. So we cross back over. Zero times 2. Nine times 3.
27.
Somewhere in that ballpark. So do we have any duplicates here? So I can't trace my lines, but. So what 0 did this one cause? X equals what? The -4 becomes a. What about that one? And this one. So did we duplicate any of them? They had a +4 and a -4, but we did not have the exact same thing. And so when I look down at my zeros, do they all cross? Yeah. So we didn't have any duplicates. So we had 3 zeros, and 3 times we crossed. Versus here we had 2 zeros, and 1 touch and 1 cross. We had 1 touch and 1 cross. We had 2 zeros. 3 different zeros and 3 different crosses. So I want you to take that information and I want you to think through. Let's make sure we read the instructions. This has overwhelmed other people in the other class. We're predicting. Does that mean I want to look at it exact? We're sketching, another word that's going to let me know that you're doing a basic graph. It said label zeros, so we define the zeros. And then basically, what do you think the graph's going to be doing between it? So on A, where are my zeros? Any other ones? Not one. So when we had 3 zeros with 3 different factors, where do you think it came from before we started the -4? Above or below? Where do you think it left going between the -4 and 0? Above or below? Where do you think it went for between 0 and 10? Above or below? Let's go through at 10. Where do you think it went after 10? Now get your graphing calculator. And you're going to multiply x times x minus 10. And it's very important to write this time sign here because those Inspire calculators do not like it if you don't. Set your window. And I'm just looking at what I have here. To go from -5 to 10, or excuse me, not to 10. Let's do a little bit bigger than 10. 11, 12. Each 0, I just want a little bit on each side. for min and max. And then y. Do we really need to really see a whole lot of detail here? So I'm just going to do -10 to +10. That way I have a square window. But if you had this at different points, that's not a bad thing. And what does your graph look like? Did our prediction work? Did it kind of match? You may have seen it go up a little bit higher or lower, depending on what your window is set at. But this is a good rough sketch of it. So, look at this next one. Where will our zeros be? Do I have any duplicates? We have 2 of these, right? So, using information about duplicates that we've seen. What do you think is going to happen at -3? It's going to come from below, right? Am I going to go above the line or below the line? What I'm going to do here at 3. See if you're right. You can use that same window, or if you want to, you can go ahead and adjust your Y's, or make your X's to be this. I'll zoom it in a little bit more. But what you had would not be a bad window. So did that pretty much match your graph? Yeah. Let's stretch this. This is something that's going to go a little bit farther than what we've already done. Where's my zeros? Is there any other ones? So instead of a double here, we have a triple. I can spell triple. It's a triple root. And we haven't experienced with those, so let's kind of do a little bit of a sketch. The first parenthesis was x squared. And by the way, this is how you could have done the other ones. You could have set each of those factors in a column and then did a product, if you didn't know how to do it. And then choose a value to each side of the 0. Choose a number less than 0.
-2.
What is -2 squared?
4.
And then -2, and therefore their product is
-8.
So that means I'm gonna be somewhere over here. I'm predicting it's gonna be curved because everything that we've done where it hasn't been a linear has been curved. Tell me a number that's bigger than 0. 4 squared. 6, and then 16 times 4. And again, I'm kind of predicting it's going to be a curve because what we've seen so far. Seeing if our prediction's right. Well, it turns out if you have an odd number of that root repeated, it's going to be like this where it's going to cross. The bigger the odd number, the flatter it gets. If you have an even number, like this was a double, it's going to have it touch and go back. The bigger it became, like if you had 4 of them, the flatter it became at that touch. The rest of the period is your historical math, yeah.